Good Grief podcast along with Michael O'Connell from the O'Connell Family Funeral Homes. Mike, how are you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
We've got a good one today, don't we?
I like it.
Carlen Gil from Minneapolis joins us here today. I can't wait to get your perspective on everything. So let's get started. First, thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us. Can you give us a little background about yourself and what drew you into the tattoo artistry industry?
I've been an artist my entire life, and I went to college at MCAD. I majored in fine art painting and drawing. And then after I graduated, I didn't know what I was going to do with that. And so I worked in kitchens and did pastry stuff for a while. And then I had my first son. And after I had him, I had a very perspective moment where I was like, what am I doing with my life? I'm just working and not actually doing what I want to be doing. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I decided that it was time to pursue my dream job. And that's what got me here.
So in your dream job,
yeah,
in creating tattoos,
yeah,
I want to talk about that a little bit, because all you need to do is walk down the road and you can see some form of artistry there. Mm-hmm. What do you feel the main reason people do have tattoos created for them, and what do they say?
Oh my gosh, there's so many reasons. I feel like nowadays it's more mainstream. Decorative tattoos have become more popular. But a lot of the times it's really sentimental as well. I always say there's this first tattoo paralysis where your first tattoo has to be this really big special thing because it's the first one. And then people who have a bajillion tattoos like me, I'm I don't know, you want to put a smiley face right here? Yeah. I feel like there's this kind of spectrum of it has to be really special to sometimes if it doesn't mean anything, that's also fun too.
Do you find when you're working with someone and you're working what their vision would be, do you feel a connection there of, wow, I really know what they're trying to say here?
Yeah, I actually think about this probably way too much.
Right.
I like the fact that people trust me with their ideas and something that's really meaningful to them. And then also trust my vision as an artist to translate that into something that would be tattooable. And then on top of that, having them carry that around with them for the rest of their lives. It's just these tattoos are going to be with people the most beautiful moments of their lives.
Yeah.
And that I think about that at the end of the day a lot. It just is a very, the amount of trust that people give me is just really beautiful.
I suppose that can be a little overwhelming, right? I mean, woo.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, right.
So this is very personal for Pete. He's asking a lot of questions because he wants to know. He spent a lot of time looking into one and spent a lot of money on one, but after 8 days when he licked it on his arm, it went away, and so he felt a little bit frustrated.
Wait a minute.
I know, it's funny. I have personally toyed with the idea quite a bit, but I've never done it.
Yeah.
But now I'm old, and I'm like, is this too old to do that?
Never. I had a lady come in. She was the coolest lady. She came into the shop last week. She drove a Vespa, and I was first of all, queen, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
Then she came in, she was
1985.
Had a bunch of tattoos. She had to be probably late 70s, maybe early 80s.
Wow.
And she came in with a couple ideas. And we had a great conversation, and she was like, oh, I'll see you in a couple weeks. You're never too old.
All right, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
What do you find that, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, it's really interesting when you think about it. My industry, we get classified or stereotyped as dark and gloomy, and we deal with death, and we're very stoic, which isn't true. But you, on the other hand, as a tattoo artist, are super known as creative and free-spirited.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think of any that I know of tattoo artists that are a stick in the mud. I mean, they're always
I know a few.
Like in any industry.
Yeah.
I do have a question, though, in that regard. Do you ever get into a position where somebody wants to do something and you go, that's really an old school vibe, man? I mean, maybe that, or do you guide them into what you think might be better situation?
So I always say, the way I view my job is I'm a technician, but also an artist.
Yeah.
So if you want something that you found on the internet, I'll try to manipulate it so it's unique to you and not stealing someone else's work, but I'll do whatever you want. Ultimately, I always tell my clients, you're the boss, I'll do whatever you want. I try to direct people in the direction of longevity-wise, that's not going to look great. Here's how this tattoo is going to age. Here's how, where it is on your body. Just things to consider.
Yeah.
And I give them all the information. They say, ultimately, here's all this information. Now you can decide what you want to do with that. If you're let's still go, then I'm let's go. But also, I love old school tattoos. I think I love tattooing at all, and I think each genre and generation of tattooing has its own importance and relevance. And so if you're referencing something maybe like an old, I don't know, like a Tasmanian devil or something, I'm like, I love that. My favorite part is giving someone a tattoo and then they look in the mirror and they're like, I look so cool. I'm like, yeah, you do. I think also it's not my tattoo. It's their tattoo. And I'm just facilitating that for them. As soon as it goes on their body, it's no longer mine. It's not my artwork. It's their body now.
So you can consult from here to there, but in the end, it's your tattoo, like you said.
Correct. Yeah. And it's also like I'm really open to feedback too. If people are like, I love your design, but I want to change this and this. Like I'm totally open to that. I'm literally, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Like people are like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, please don't apologize. And I also have the same thing with moving the tattoo. We put a stencil on before we start. And
wow,
I was just gonna
never
ask
even
you
thought of that.
Yeah, and people are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Can we move it a little to the left?" And I'm like, first of all, every time you apologize, you owe me $10.
The bill is ticking.
Yeah, so it's permanent. So let's get it right. You know what I mean? It's not about me. I don't have to look in the mirror and see this every day. You do.
So do you have a certain program that you, when they come in with that Tasmanian devil, like you say, and it's very detailed, do you then take that, put it into some program that makes a schematic and that template, like you say, to put on them?
I use a program called Procreate, and it's basically just like, it's on an iPad, and I still draw it. So if someone gives me a reference, I'll use that, but I still draw from that. Sometimes, depending on what it is, I'll also draw like on paper. I find that script is easier or looks better when it's done by hand. It just has that more flow, it has better flow. So a lot of times when people want hand done script, I'll do it on paper. And then we just print it out if you do it on the iPad, and then you scan it. We have a stencil maker, and it basically is photographic exposing, I don't know, mechanism.
Sure.
So the light exposes, it transfers the image onto a piece of like carbon paper, and then we cut that out, put a little stencil goo on your skin, put it on there, and that's where you can go, okay, how does that look? And then you can say, I want it a little bit to the left and up, and then,
You could be there for hours.
Oh, correct.
No,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah,
I can only imagine.
So when you were growing up, were you one of those kids that was doodling and scrolling in your book in school?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have to be super creative to do that. I couldn't do it.
Yes, I got in trouble for that a lot. But also, I feel like I learn and listen better when I'm doing things with my hands. And so I find that it's actually really strange when I'm drawing. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast or an audiobook or watch TV or like just have background noise. And I remember when I like print out my drawing or when I'm tattooing it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the part of the book. Because like my brain associates that part of the drawing with like that. So
what I hear you saying is that you're going to start listening to the Good Grief podcast when you do them, and they're all going to be skulls now.
Yeah. So you are a full-fledged artist.
Yeah.
When did you come to the realization that, I guess I would say, could title yourself that, where you're like, dang, I am?
I still really don't feel like that.
Right.
I mean, I feel like, it's very like almost imposter syndrome-y. I'm like, I can't believe like this is what I get to do and make money doing. It's a lot of the times I'm very like, wait, what? Is this real life?
You love what you do.
How many people can really say that and mean it? It's pretty cool.
That's a gift.
I have a degree in fine art, but I joke about it all the time. Because it's not, I'm like, that's not a real degree.
But it kind of is.
But I mean, I'm paying for it like it is.
Yeah, that makes it real.
Yeah.
But I mean, it put you in the position you are now. And I think the journey has put you to this. So you're obviously here for a reason, right? And there's a process that takes cremated remains and converts them into tattoo ink as an additive. So we'll start, Mike. How does that process work?
It's actually pretty simple. It's complicated but simple. It's 4 steps. So before their thermal processing, which they perform a light pre-filtration step to remove any large debris or unprocessed fragments. So in other words, when someone's cremated, they're reduced to cremated remains, but there's still some that are bigger than a piece of sand, and they don't want that kind of texture to it. So all ashes, and the second part is all ashes, regardless of the cremation type. What I mean is there's aquamation, cremation. They undergo a graphite-based pyrolysis in a medically sterile, oxygen-controlled chamber. and it's at 2,800 degrees Fahrenheit that this step sterilizes the ashes completely, because you can't have.
Do you do that here?
No,
Or no. Okay.
no. This is only the company. There's only certain companies that
It's
do
a
it.
niche. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then that refines the trace minerals or the residue, the organic content, and it produces a chemically stable carbon structure suitable for skin-safe ink. And then following the pyrolysis, the ashes are passed through a 3-stage filtration system, which this ultra-fine consistently is critical for the smooth blending, the long-term ink stability, and the safe use in commemorative cremation tattoos. And then the fourth is that they use a lab-grade mechanical agitation to thoroughly blend the refined carbon into the proprietary ink base. And so then they'll get a little jar of it. You ever seen those little touch-ups for your stove, the little paint that comes in that little, that's what it looks like. And then they'll take that to Carlen, and then she'll use that with her ink.
So I'm your client. I will bring that, and then you will just add that to the ink, pour it right in?
No, I would use that instead of whatever I'm using. So it comes in black ink. It's a bottle of ink that's already been processed.
Is it the same, when you get that, is that the same as any ink you pull off the shelf? Or do you have things you have to consider?
So all tattooings have sort of different consistencies. Mm-hmm. Black, usually across the board, is pretty much the same. Black ink is made from carbon, which is basically the same thing. Which makes it easiest to tattoo and have longevity, because your body identifies carbon as something familiar instead of a foreign body. So that's why black ink stays the best.
Is this a common occurrence in today's world?
It's becoming more and more.
Yeah.
It's highly personalized. What else can you do that's even close to that?
What do people typically symbolize, image or phrase for their tattoos? Is there commonality to that?
I'm going to let Carlen answer that one, because I think she would be best to answer that. Like when people come to you, what's a common...
It's like a memoriam or something.
Butterflies are really common. Angels. Sometimes people want actual portraits or imagery of the person that they've lost. Or sometimes it's random stuff, like an inside joke, which is always fun too. But yeah, it's across the board.
What would be your top 5 requests?
For memorial tattoos?
Or just any, maybe.
Any tattoos? Script is usually a really big one. A lot of people want something in someone's handwriting. So if they wrote them a letter or a card or something. Or butterflies is super common. Even sometimes birds, different birds. Skulls are a big one.
Skull.
Yeah.
Like the Vikings?
No, a
skull.
Like a skull.
Oh, skull. I thought you said skull.
I probably did.
Hearing people say that over across the river.
I don't do sports, so I don't.
Okay, so this is my question. People are scared, terrified of death in society. Yeah. We don't want to talk about it, right? We just want to stay away from it. Yet one of the most popular is skulls. Why? If you're so scared of it, why would you want to put a skull on you? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think it honestly dates back to a long history of art. Even dating back to Dutch painters, they used to paint memento mori paintings, which basically were paintings that symbolize that everything in life is temporary. So as they would paint, they would have a still life of fruit, animals, meat, and then as they would paint it, the still life would decay, and they would paint the decay as it was happening. And so I think that kind of projected across time is this permanence and impermanence of life, and how fundamentally everything is temporary, and I think that's a huge one, but also we all have the same skeletal structure. And it's the one thing as a human that we have in common, that we're all skeletons under.
Yeah, no, I get that.
How about placement? Do you find people want things more visible or more private? Is there a balance to that?
It depends, right? If it's someone's first tattoo, I usually recommend that they don't get it somewhere like your hands or your face or your neck. Usually, traditionally, tattooers call those job killers. so if I have an 18-year-old coming in, I'm I want this on my hand. I'm let's not. It's one of those things where it's I'll give you all the information. If you still want your hand, I'll still do it on your hand, but I gave you the talk. So a really common play wrist, like the inside of your arm.
Does that hurt? I mean, that looks like it hurts.
It totally does.
I mean, I've
like
done IVs there on people, and those are the most painful ones on the inside of the wrist.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
right
So,
now, I get goosebumps thinking
You're like,
about it.
"Ugh."
I can't do it.
Okay, so I always say this because that's the number one thing everyone asks me when I tell them what my job is. Do tattoos hurt? And the answer is yes. All tattoos hurt. Period. End of story. You have a needle going into your skin. It's gonna hurt. However, some places hurt more or have more sensation than others. And I like to say like the soft underbelly of your body, so like the insides. If you were thinking like if you were an animal, then like these are all your important areas. We are animals, but
Yep.
this is all the important stuff, like right here. Your body's going to make that more painful. So you're like, hey, how about we don't stick needles in that part of our body? So I always say the soft underbelly is the most painful part. Usually, I think the easiest place for that I've gotten tattooed is like the outside of the arm, outside, top of the legs. For some reason, the bottom of the legs and back of the legs is awful.
Oh, I
It
didn't
looks-
think of that.
Yeah, I know.
I just think if somebody pinched in the back of my calf, I'd scream.
Do you have one on the back of your legs?
Yes, I have tattoos. I'm actually
Okay.
working on my back right now.
I've
so-
heard that's not the best. The back can be a problem.
So this is the thing. I had a baby 6 months ago. And so I was like, I'm going to get my back tattooed. Like, I had a baby. I have had 2 babies. I'm like, let's go. I can do this. Wrong. Incorrect. Yeah, one of my friends was working on it, and we were joking around, and I was like, did I hurt your feelings or something? Because, like, why does this hurt so bad?
So there's one person I know that was going to do the full back with
Yeah.
a lot of color, and there's a big deal going on there, and it just stopped with the outline.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like, enough, I can't. And so
Yeah.
that's the part that surprised me though,
Yeah.
because I think Mike's saying the inner wrist. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, so usually with bigger pieces, so my back right now is just lined.
Yeah.
So, and that took it, as a client, my sitting time is like 4 hours. After 4 hours, I know I'm like, if you touch me again, I'm going to beat you up. Like, it's very...
You think that's pretty normal, 4 hours for most, or are you a little longer?
It depends. Typically, women sit longer than men. No offense. But
Not taken, trust me.
yeah, I have some clients, and I actually have noticed people who have chronic pain conditions actually sit a lot better.
Interesting.
It's actually almost like a TENS unit for them. It helps
Oh.
them distract from the pain that they have in their body all the
Interesting.
time.
Yeah.
Men usually don't sit the best. It depends though.
We often, when we get a cold, we are on
Correct.
hospice, so that
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah, you should see my husband. He hyperventilates when I tattoo him, and it's scary.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, it's like I'm like, calm down.
Just the thought.
You use a harpoon or a regular needle, that's
Just-
why.
I mean,
So when it comes down to decision, like where this is going, it sounds if you're maiden voyage, rookie, first timer, it's a joint decision where you may do some consultation
Yeah,
again. And
yeah.
again, if you really have to, you'll do that. But you help. But if it's more of someone that's more veteran and has had quite a bit of work, you just say they put it where they want to.
yes and no. I think that a lot of people don't realize that getting a tattoo is a collaborative thing. So you have to be able to sort of trust your artist that they're going to give you the best tattoo. So you might think, I have a bunch of tattoos and I know it would look good here, but also hear me out. So I think always it's a collaboration between you and your artist, whether it's your first tattoo or your 200.
Just like anything else
Yeah.
in that regard.
Is there, you talked about the inside of the arm or the back of the calf as places you might not suggest one, but do people get a little goofy like on personal parts of their body, and will you say, I'm not doing that?
So I draw a hard line at anything that's offensive or would make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think maybe like a medical professional, bodies are bodies are bodies. But I don't
Okay.
really, nudity and like that part, like private parts of your body don't really bother me. But if it was a situation where someone was intentionally trying to make me uncomfortable, I would be like,
Oh, yeah.
not today. But that's the great part about my job as well, is I'm my own boss. So if someone's doing something that I'm like, don't love that, you can leave. Like, goodbye. So
Yeah.
I'm always in charge of the situation ultimately. And if it's something I don't feel is right or uncomfortable.
How about, so a couple guys come in and they've been having a few and they think, let's go get matching tattoos.
Yeah.
Is there a point where you look and you say, I'm not doing that because you're inebriated, and I'm not going to have that come back and bite me.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm not allowed to, I don't know Wisconsin what the laws are, but in Minnesota, I legally cannot tattoo someone who is visibly drunk. Mm-hmm. Some people are secretive. I'm like, are you drunk?
We call it functioning.
Yeah. So I could get my license taken away if I tattooed someone who was like visibly intoxicated. Yeah.
That makes good sense. How often do people come in and say, I got this, she was my girlfriend at the time, and I thought it'd be good, and now I want to get rid of the Abigail on my forearm?
Yep.
Then you have to figure out a word with Abigail in it, or what?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I always say name tattoos are a curse. Mm-hmm. Don't ever get your significant other's name tattooed. It's a curse. But sidestepping from that is cover-ups, just in general, are a fun problem to solve because you have to find an image or something that covers up what you're wanting to cover up without you being able to see the original piece. And it's almost like it's a puzzle, sort of. You know what I mean? It's okay if it's Angela, is that what you said, or what?
Abigail, or whatever it is, yeah. Insert name.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, maybe we could put a black crow over it or something. And then all the areas where the crow is black, that's where the lettering will be. Or maybe like where the wings are, because there's a lot of texture there. We can hide it in there. Or we could do like flowers. Yeah.
This is another dumb question. You get something on your clothes, you put bleach on it, right? To bleach it out. Can you do that?
Like bleach a tattoo?
Yeah. Can you soak your arm in bleach for 3 days?
Probably don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be rough.
I know it. You can't drink it for COVID, but I didn't know.
It's worth a shot, right? No. I have heard horror stories of like old school dudes like taking steel wool to their tattoos.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Holy man.
Yeah, but but
They
probably
just basically rub their skin off and let it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Tattoo removal is very common now. There's a removal place that we work with is called the Removery. I haven't had anything removed. I've heard that it's way more painful and it takes a way longer time because they can't do it a lot at one session. Basically,
I had a friend that had one removed, left arm, and it was a heart or a deep from a significant other. They did it together, and it was. To their credit, they said, "Ooh, that's a tough one. That's going to be 6 to 8 sessions." It was 8.
Right.
It's gone.
Right.
It is?
Yeah, it's gone.
Does it look like they got a burn on their arm?
No.
Or just really?
Nope.
Yeah.
What do they inject?
It's like a laser gun that goes.
So they don't go to the hardware store and say, "Can you match this skin tone?" And we need to find an ink additive.
That's a very good point because that you can also do that. You can basically put white over it or like or cream, but it's not gonna cover it. It just is gonna push back the color enough where you could then put something on top of it.
Oh, sure.
But aging wise, the color is going to fade faster than the black because of the whole carbon situation. So your body pushes out colored ink faster than it pushes out black. So eventually what would happen is that the color is going to be pushed out and then you're going to have cover up with cover up. So it might end up just being a black blob.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So while we're in on this aging and the topic,
Yeah.
do you ever find maybe skin is a little tighter to the body when you're younger and it maybe gets looser? Does that change the art? Do you see that in older clients?
Do you
or
mean
no?
like the same tattoo?
I don't want to say sagging, but
Yeah.
like saggy skin.
Yeah.
Does that? I mean, do you see?
Yeah, I think that's actually one of the most beautiful parts of tattooing is that it ages with people and over time it changes with the person. If you have a good artist, it could be something that ages with you and ages beautifully. I think there's a lot of like really small, tiny tattoos that are really in right now, and those don't age as well because the way that your body processes and breaks down the tattoos is it breaks it apart and then drains it through your lymph nodes. So I tell people just like a number, expect every 7 years that it expands. So if you think about that, you have a tiny little heart that's the size of this. In 7 years, you're going to have a circle. So
Right.
It's as far as aging and the way that like skin expands and shrinks over time, your design should be done to compensate for that. And if you were like, nope, I don't want that, then it's your artist's job to be like, okay, but just letting you know that I always say 7 years. I don't know. That's just my number.
Right.
7 years, this could possibly do this. And then 14, we're looking like this. And then that, so on and so on. But as far as tattooing people with saggy or older skin, that's a whole nother thing too, because the tattoo goes into your epidermis and then your dermis is underneath it. And so as you get older, the epidermis gets shallower and shallower. And so when you tattoo and you get into the dermis, it causes a blowout. And so it looks like a bruise. Like the ink hits in there, it hits the fatty tissue and it goes,
wow.
It's the scariest thing ever. It's happened to me.
That would freak me out.
Yeah.
You can't undo it.
I mean, if I were you, I'd be like, ooh.
So the only time it happened to me, it was when I was very new to tattooing. I think it was like my first couple months. And I had a client come in. She was an older woman and she wanted something on her arm. And I didn't know because I was very new, and I tattooed her and I barely touched the needle and I could see it. The ink just went, like, exploded under her skin, and I was like, oh my God. It was the worst feeling in the world.
Did she know that was happening?
I talked to her about it afterwards and she was like, oh my God. She was totally fine. She's the sweetest lady ever. But now when I have someone like an older client or someone who has more aged skin or who doesn't take care of their skin as well, I tell them there is always this possibility of a blowout. And then I show them a picture of what a blowout looks like and what to look for. And there's not a whole lot you can do from a blowout. You can maybe like tattoo the color over that, but it happens.
Got it.
Yeah.
What kind of feedback have you gotten from people from this process? Circling back to from the ink perspective and all that, have you received any feedback, Mike, from people that have done that?
Yeah, 10 years ago, you didn't have people taking fingerprints or cremated remains in little urns, and so now you can have your cremated remains shot to the moon or put in a reef in the ocean. And so
Wait, shot to the moon?
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
How do you know it goes there?
It sounds like a saying, but it's true.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they.
I feel like there's just like, how do you know it goes to the moon though?
You choose me.
You're like, I have a guy.
I have a guy.
Like you said, I think you have to trust the artist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Trust space.
So yeah, we're seeing that this is
Great.
a up and coming, and that was the reason I wanted to do this podcast, is to bring some light to it, because it is, I think, the most personalized way to memorialize somebody.
I do too.
And I saw from people that have been in treatment or in jails, they have taken a pin. I don't know how they did it or even got the material to do it, but I have seen some of the most intrinsic artistic tattoos that were done in jails. That blows my mind.
That's a joke that I tell a lot. Not a lot of people think it's funny.
No.
But I'm like, hey, if I go to prison, I always have a job.
Right on.
No, that's a good one.
Tattooers are the best job to have in jail.
Does somebody bring them ink then, or how does that work?
No, you can make a tattoo machine from, I don't know exactly what they do, but it's like a battery, and then you take a pen and you break it apart, use a battery and a rubber band, and basically make a tattoo machine.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
That's creative, artistic.
Yeah.
When you think
of
of
that.
that.
But
I mean,
also,
Pete,
like,
you were licking those 9-volt batteries. I mean, you thought that was pretty good.
Did it once.
They won up.
I did that once.
Yeah, so did I.
But also, like, how that's cool, right? Like, people, even like in prison and in places where like you can't express yourself, people will always find a way to mark their bodies. And
That's a pretty interesting way to look at that.
Yeah.
When you reach back into history, how long has this really gone on?
I mean, we can find evidence of people getting tattooed all the way, since the beginning of time. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Iceman. I think his name was Utsi, and they found this man who had been mummified. I don't even remember what mountain it was, but they found him, and he had tattoo markings all over his body. But he had them in places like joints or places that would have suggested more medicinal reasons for getting tattooed. So, cultures have been doing this forever.
So now we've got a great way of making this happen. What if people are unsure if a tattoo is for them? Can they do, I've used the word consulting a lot, consultation.
That's it. Yeah.
Is it normal? Are you available for consultation? And how does that work? And is it best if they're licensed and certified like you are?
So always get a tattoo from someone who is licensed.
And it's okay to ask, right?
Yes.
You should.
Please ask.
But you should.
Yes. Yeah. I think Wisconsin licensing, you pay a $65 fee, And then you have to have a venue for the health department to inspect. Those are the requirements to tattoo in Wisconsin.
Don't they also need 2 cereal box tops?
Just to be sure.
The Pepsi.
Yeah, the tabs.
So that's something to keep in mind. Minnesota is one of the strictest states besides Oregon in the United States for licensing. So we require 200 hours of witness tattoo time by your mentor. And then we also have to take a bloodborne pathogen class that we have to take every year. And then your license expires every 2 years. So then we have to pay to re-up that every 2 years. So it differs state by state, county by county, but Minnesota and Oregon are, like, in order to tattoo, you have to have pretty strict, there's strict guidelines. But yes, always make sure someone is licensed. I always recommend going into the tattoo shop. Consultation is exactly the word that I would use, and I do use. Let's sit down and have a conversation. Sometimes I'm not the right artist for someone, and that's okay. Not everything is for everyone, and that's fine. But it's important to know that before, like, I'm sitting and hurting you.
Right.
So I want to, sometimes I really click with people, and we're vibing. Your ideas are my ideas, our brains meld together. And it's beautiful, but sometimes that doesn't happen, and it's cool. Usually what that then I would do is suggest a friend or someone else I know in the Twin Cities as a reputable tattoo artist. What if you tried this person? Because ultimately my goal for everybody is to love their tattoos, whether I'm doing it or someone else is. And taking the time to sit down with someone, I always tell people to bring examples of what they like and what they don't like.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't know, like, everyone's opinions and taste is so different that what I like and what you like probably aren't the same things. Maybe so, and also what don't you like, so that I know what to avoid when I'm designing this for you. Definitely do your research. I love when people come with homework. They're like, here's these things, here's what I like about them, here's these things, here's what I don't like about them. I'm like, beautiful.
Do you have clip art books so people like, I want a cardinal, and you show them like 100 different cardinals or something? I don't know.
Sort of. So what I have traditionally is called Flash. And that started back before, I mean, if you think of Sailor Jerry tattoos, that started way back when, in the very beginning. I don't know how far to get into this, but I could go on for hours. But tattooing in the United States started around the Civil War. And back then, guys were making sheets of, like, tattoos that you could get. And then the soldiers would come in and be like, oh, I did this many kills or whatever, so I want this star. So then if you had this star, then you would know this person did this, this, and this, or this person fought in this battle. And then it kind of waned a little bit, and then it usually bursts around war times, historically. Yeah. So it went on a trend for a little bit, and then in World War I, there was a huge burst of tattooing, and the Tsar got tattooed, the Queen of England got tattooed, like, it was a thing. Yeah. A bunch of people got tattooed. And that's where it had another big burst where, like, you see people like the Wagners are coming out. It's like this husband and wife team, and they travel a lot of circus sideshow. People had tattooers there so that when you would go see the sideshow, you could get a tattoo. And that's where this idea of Tattoo Flash came from. And so that you would sit down and they would have a little book of drawings that they've done. And then they can be like, I want this one. And then it has a price on it. And you're like, great, go sit down. I'll get set up for you. So that tradition has carried on since. So I have at the tattoo shop a book with my name on it, and it's all of these designs that I've drawn and that I would love to tattoo.
Cool.
And
so when someone goes, that one, you're like, yes.
Yeah,
got it.
Love it. It's my favorite, right? I also have stuff that I've drawn just because in my station at work, I have a whole wall of drawings that I've done just because I wanted to. And then I'll usually give someone a deal if they want one of those because it's something that I've been wanting to do. But yeah, my Flash book, I have a bunch of designs that I just have drawn up. Usually it's tattoos that I want right. or that I like, and then or that I think people will like. I'm like, oh, people love flowers. So I have a bunch of flowers in there too. So yeah, you can come in if you're like, I don't really know, I want a tattoo today. I'm like, cool, here's my book. You can look through it. Or if you're not sure if you want to get tattooed by me, you can look at my book and see what I like and what I draw like. So yeah, that's called Tattoo Flash.
So how do, Mike, people go about, is it a Google search for getting their ink?
No, it's...
How do you do that?
Just Lynn O'Connell's take care of it. So we work with a company, Engrave Ink, that they only do this. So it's not like a side job or they're doing other things. So a family decides they want to do it. We would then help them take some of the cremated remains and convert them over to the ink additive. And then they would call Carlen and set up a time to, like she just said, go over and see what they like.
I have one follow-up to that. How much of the remains do you pull?
It's not much. It's just about 1 ounce, if that.
Really? So it's very little and it's still...
Yep, like a quarter of a cup.
Okay, so it's not much.
No.
Okay.
They refine it, and so they don't want a lot.
Get a hold of Mike here at O'Connell Family Funeral Homes. We've got phone numbers, email addresses, websites, any way to get a hold of them there. As far as you, Carlen, is there a way people can get a hold of you?
Yeah, I have an email. It's carlen.tattoo@gmail.com.
That's with a C, correct?
Yeah, Carlen. And then I also have an Instagram where I post a lot of my work, and it's Carlen Tatooine, like the Star Wars planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it.
You can find me there. Yeah.
Okay, great. So for sure Instagram, then you can show all of your work too. I'm sure it's all there.
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
everything's on Instagram. We also have a website. Our tattoo shop has a website, but I will preface this and say that not every artist at the shop will do the cremation ink, and not every artist at every tattoo shop will do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the only one in our shop who will do it.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and we also I made cards and kind of like pamphlets describing like what I do, explaining myself and the process. And we'll have that at the funeral home as well. Yeah.
That's at the funeral home, you said?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hey, this has been most entertaining. I've learned so much.
Yay.
Thank you. It was outstanding. And I'm sure there's someone listening here that will say, Carlen, I'm going to come see you soon.
I would love that.
That'll be the bottom line.
Yeah.
So
even if you want to come talk, I love to talk. I'm a gabber. So if you want to come chat, come say hi.
you're a natural podcaster. I can flip one half question up and you can go.
Yeah,
you make the job really easy.
I love to talk.
No, it's great. I love it. You're in the right spot. So good job.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And once again, thanks for joining us here on Good Grief today.